Okay guys, so I am back again. Haven't brought you a video in quite some time, so I just want to talk to you guys a little bit and say thank you very much for joining me in this journey with CLO3D. I've been having so much fun. A lot of the tips and tricks that I have prepared for you guys, you'll be able to see here, and just how I start with one side. But now there's something added. That is symmetrical editing. Yes, you have half symmetry, but now you have symmetrical editing for one piece. And I'll show you how that works with this back here. So see, now it's not editing left to right, but now with symmetrical editing, I can edit the same curve from the left side to the right side, lines, whatever else that I want to add to this piece. It will automatically be symmetrically added to the other side, whether I'm working on the left side or the right side. So this helps me when I want to make changes and tweaks and not have to try to recalibrate or recalculate the change that I made to the other side of the garment. So bravo to CLO 5.1 long-awaited release of symmetrical editing in one pattern piece. Bravo. So I'm just making a little shirt here. I'm so annoyed at myself right now how I made this sleeve, guys. This is not how you make a sleeve. I'm going to do sometimes when I'm playing around, I just know the shape that I want, and I just like, okay, I'll make the shape without even doing pattern making. I know a lot of you guys want me to show some more realistic pattern making, but since I've been a pattern maker for over 20 years, I kind of know the shape that I want, and it kind of seems to fit in when I'm making a garment. So excuse me for just making this sleeve up as I go, but a lot of this is also you know, you can see how sleeves are made and how the shape is for different styling can be adjusted. Yeah, adjust the cap a little bit, make a curve or not make a curve, change the point to a curve. You can do a lot of different things when making a sleeve shape. You can actually copy a sleeve. You can bring a sleeve in from another pattern and adjust it to the measurements that you want, and just make sure the armhole matches, and you're good to go. So right now I'm just matching up my armhole. One thing I will say with 5.1, they give you a lot more points in your pattern, especially on curves. A lot of patterns that I've imported, I can see way more curves on the DXF pattern. So I know that that is a data change. Please do not pay attention to this sleeve as I go on and ramble and just undo everything that I just did on this sleeve. So with that, I'll say that there are changes in the code that will benefit you as far as when you're actually creating garments from scratch or from DXF patterns, which you will like as a pattern maker, you'll appreciate. So there are a few other things that I am happy to announce that CLO 5.1 has added, and that's what this video is all about, just CLO 5.1 and what I think about it. And now I have left to right side symmetry for my sleeves, and I'm sewing them on, but I do want to add some buttons. Now another thing I will say, I'm doing this really quickly, so I am not really adding my buttons symmetrically. Don't hate me, people, please. This was just a fast thing that I wanted to try to do, and I was not being symmetrical. And I should always be symmetrical as a pattern maker. I am sure that that is some of the rules somewhere in life, but I wasn't following it this day, so excuse me for just using my eye and figuring it out as I go. Anyway, so buttons left to right. You can actually design your buttons. You can design a thread of your buttons. I'm symmetrically putting them on the other side of the pattern and turning them into buttonholes. And this is how you're connecting them with the button connection tool. And that's that. So I'm going to redesign the buttons and pull in some prints, and you guys will see exactly what I actually end up doing to this garment. I'm going to add a skirt. I'm going to add some prints, and I'm going to skip over the details and show you that in just a sec. Okay, so I do go through and start messing with the sleeve after I put it on. I mean, it's pretty good sleeve. So I am adjusting the width and giving it a little fold over, and then I'm going to add some print to both sides. But now I've got this seam at the fold line that is pulling the sleeve in, and that's not the look that I want. It looks almost gathered at the sleeve. So what I'm going to do is pull it out, make it straight, then mess with these buttons a little bit. So I wanted to show you how I make a collar. It's just a simple collar. Now this I am taking the measurements, of course, of the front and back neck, and then creating the collar to size to fit the front and back neck. So let's give that a watch. Now as you see here, I've given the collar internal line so that I can fold it down, and as you pull on it and mess with it, you can actually get a nice flat collar without a band to roll on that line. So that's what I'm going for here, just a simple shirt. I've cleaned up the sleeve, as you can see, and now I don't know, I kind of don't like this button. I think I needed a collar band, but I didn't put one on. So at this point, if you can see that little thing sticking up at the center front, that is where the collar band should go, and that is what I did not do. So I already started on the skirt, and like I said, I pretty much know enough about pattern making to know how to get this skirt onto the model. It looks like I didn't adjust that sleeve at this point. Oh, it's a crash. Beware that 5.1 does crash when you try to do too many operations at once. So try to just chill until we get those updates that 5.1 is stable. This is the beta, and I am playing around with it just to see. But what I've noticed is that there are a lot of crashes if I try to work in my usual way, you know, which is freestyle and freelance, and I kind of do a lot of clicking and a lot of pulling and a lot of things that kind of make a beta situation a little bit fragile. I'll put it that way. So I am making just one of these cute skirts with like a ruffle flounce at the bottom. A roof flounce, as I call it, but it's actually a true flounce with the circle, half circle in front, half circle in back. So I am just creating an inner circle, and then I'm going to cut it out once I know it's evened up. And that is that, and I'm going to sew that on. So you can slow this down and watch a little bit of that if you like. But one thing that I know is that the skirt's too big already, but I don't find that out until the end. So you'll see too how I resize it and add a waistband. So let's bring that back. I'm gonna let you watch me sew this up and simulate it. And then we're gonna come back and see part of the finished garment. But like I said, there are a lot of crashes. So take your time and save often, more often than autosave. If you make a pattern piece, just save it. To me, that's like, you know, a best practice, if you would say. Once you create a pattern piece, save. I'm saying that because I did not do that, and I got many crashes trying to create this thing, and I really actually gave up at the end. But I wanted to just give you guys a quick video of what's going on with 5.1 and see how you like it. I do like it, I must say. It is so much better for pattern makers and so much better for you know, more complex garments. You can actually walk your patterns, and you can actually use the half symmetry. And there are plenty other things that I am going to showcase on the channel in the next couple of weeks. I'm sorry that I have been away for a little while, but I had some life changes, which were very good. And I'm extremely happy about my living situation right now. And just a new homeowner, so a lot of us know how long that process can take. But now I'm all settled in, and I'm ready to get back at my CLO tutorials for you guys. So like I said, the skirt is just way too big, but I fix it. So let's get to that part. So one of the things that I notice now is that in certain instances, you do not have to use the layer tool. You can actually layer garments a little bit better, one on top of the other in the same layer. It just takes a little bit more maneuverability. So if you have something that's semi-fitted and something that's, you know, big going on the outside, you might not have to do a layer, or you might want to do a layer just to make sure that they are separately you know, fixed on the body. So right now I am just messing around to see, like, can I really do this? Can I really just simulate it over each other? Here I do something that is just unconventional. Why did you freeze them and they're sewn together? They're trying to sew themselves together while frozen. So like I said, I do this and I mess up the buttons and I make a whole mess of this thing, just trying to prove that I can tuck something in on the same layer. So yes, it is a little easier, but maybe not as recommended for beginner users or for people that just don't like pulling and tugging on everything. So just create a layer if you want to do one thing on top of the other. So let's get to the end of this beast, because this became more problematic than I had hoped. So I'm going to run you through some of the print things that I did and finish this up. Okay, so long story short, I added a nice tropical print for the shirt and a tropical print for the bottom. And then I digress and I go into trying to fix these shoes, but then I give up. Yeah, so now we can just render this out, and I call this a completed look. Animal collar, tropical print, graphic print for the cuff, and another tropical print for the skirt. Just a little bit of a challenge with the prints, and that's that. So now you can see that the sleeve actually does not show the print that is in the 2D in the 3D window when you render it. So how you fix that? Because I actually put the print on the back side of the fabric. So now I have to go back and make sure that I change the fabric. Yeah, see, like you can't do anything. The buttons are kind of frozen. If you're doing too much, it will tell you you're doing too much. So I kind of gave up. But yeah, I changed that, and I'll show you the simulation at the end. But right now I go to open up another file so I can show you a pattern that's already been created, already been shredded up and fit onto this model. However, the model did not have underwear on. So now I do the underwear for the videos now, but when I drape for myself, I do not use the undergarments, and you will see why once I pull this dress in. Now this dress is a size 6, but it was created for our avatar that was a little shorter, and this model is tall, plus she has high heels on, so you just have to kind of lift it up and then bring it in. And then I'm going to just change the sleeve rotation to make sure that it goes on smoothly, and I'll simulate that. But as you can see, the underwear get caught up in the simulation of the garment because they are actually not a part of the skin like the CLO avatars. Their garments are part of the skin. Their undergarments are part of the skin. This one from CLO3D, the undergarments are separate. So the undergarments can get moved and caught and cause a little problem when you are issuing. So I'm trying to get rid of this bump on the neck. But I noticed that if I move one side of the garment, I don't have symmetry cut put on the other side of the garment. How do you do that? You find the middle of your pattern, you create points, save, because you know that this thing will crash on you. And I'm sure it's crashed on me so many times during this part, but we're going to just show you how to do that. So now my user settings were off. I had to go back and change it so that I could get the left click. So now I can, I'm sorry, right click. So now I can get my right click menu after I restart. Open my save file. And now click that neck, create a point at the center, right click, still my right click's not working. What are you gonna do? User settings. Now it's on and popping. Okay. Uniform split. See how many points I get with this DXF pattern? You will have to clean up these points. If you put it into any other pattern program, you will need to clean up all those points. It's creating a ridiculous amount of points. So now you just saw that I simulated half symmetry on the other side. It did not delete my sewing. How wonderful. It did on the skirt, but it did not on the top bodice. So wonderful. I only have a little bit of area to re-sew once I created the symmetry, half side symmetry. So now I'm creating the neckline that I want, opening up the neck and reducing the shoulder as I wanted to do initially. And there you have it. Now this dress, like I said, was already created and fit on an Alvanon form, and now I am putting it on the avatar. So here I am showing you how to walk the patterns and to make sure that it fits and notch it at the same time. So now I see that I have like a little bit off. So what do? You make an adjustment. I'm making an adjustment for 1/8 of an inch, and that happens on the front. And you can see that that little line now is gone. That little twisty line that told me the sleeve does not fit. For some reason, I want to even out the sleeve underarm, but I crash. Yes, so woe is me. I have to start all over again. And woe is you, because you have to watch me reopen the file and do all this kind of stuff. So I'm reopening it. And then I wanted to go back and check on that sleeve again, but I think I leave it alone because I don't want to keep crashing. And it seems like every time I try to put it together, it keeps crashing. So now I'm saving and saving and saving and saving. So trying to figure out what print I want. I do like that green print, but I just felt like it was too dark. So I had some images that I downloaded of lava, working on a project for my son. He was recoloring something and he wanted to match those colors. So you'll see that I change everything. Yeah, I didn't put any facings. You saw me delete the facings only because right now I'm just showing you guys about walking patterns and half side symmetry and things that you can do in clothes that are new. Animal. Do I want animal? I don't. I love animal, but I just couldn't decide. So you see me going through all of the changes of trying to get a print going. You do so much animal at the job that I was just like not interested in the animal. Anyway, right now I'm figuring out, I like that lava print, and I'm just going to enlarge it a bit and make it look special. Rotate the pattern a little bit. Cool. I like it. So now there's another thing that I want to show you guys about working with CLO3D avatars. You'll see in other videos that I actually, you have to go in and bring in all of their maps. Maps are things that are placed on their body parts that make them look realistic. That's what a map basically is. Like you would use a fabric map to make the fabric realistic, or a skin map, or an eyeball map, a hair map. The maps are what make it look three-dimensional and realistic. So I think I am done with this. I'm gonna pull in a pose. And she's so chic. Hello, darling. You are so chic. Oh, I love your dress. It is basic princess with fit and flare circle skirt. Oh, very nice. I love it. Okay, so there's something else in 5.1 that came back to us. So I'm going to switch out this avatar. So I'm going to show you guys after I keep fiddling with the texture. So this is also a map that will change the texture when you go and render it in 3D. You'll see that the texture is revised. So once I stop playing with the shoes, I am now starting to play with the lights before I actually finish my rendering. The lights in CLO3D actually help the render to look more realistic and less flat. When you have the light bouncing off parts of the 3D render, it actually looks less flattened and more adds more depth. The light actually adds more depth. So as you can see, we rendered that out, saving. I'm going to switch to avatar because I want to show you guys that the animation is back. Amazing, the animation is back. So I'm putting her back into T-pose and I'm saving her again as a different file. And I'm going to delete the avatar. Please do not delete the avatar while you're in render state. Your dress will fall to the floor. So now she's a little shorter, and I'm not going to resize it. I'm not going to do the whole resize thing. I think I try it, and you can resize up, but you cannot resize down. That is something that I discovered for the new 5.1. So if you want to make it bigger, go for it. Use the auto grading, and auto size and auto grade is a little bit different. So I'm going to do a whole video about that. But right now I just gave her this dress and I let it hang on her a little bit. I'm going to change her shoes, her foot position. I think she's underneath the whole thing. I don't know what's wrong with the back of heel of these shoes. These strappy shoes are just coming out weird. I don't know if that's something that will change or can change, but now she's getting into the right pose for me. I don't know why I'm so excited about one hand on the hip. That's like the only pose that I do for these avatars. Anyway, so if you saw that, that was a little flash of me digressing to something else. And now she's cute, right? Okay, so I didn't really change the size of the pattern to match this. It's like one size too big for her, but I think it's fine. Yeah, that shoe, what's happening there at the heel? That was really annoying me. Like, little things annoy me on this, but I love this program. I mean, I really do, because I can actually print this pattern out, put it on a size 6 woman, and I am good to go. So let's talk about animation. Right now I am switching to the 3D window, and I'm going to try this animation out. Now, if you're familiar with how to animate, you need to pick an animation and you need to load it into the animation part of the program that you can find at your top left. I'm sorry, your top right hand side of the screen. So with that, you have to click the record button, and it is actually recording and simulating at the same time. So it's simulating your garment, and then when you're ready, when you feel like your simulation is done, then you can record it onto a video file. So it's actually recording the model's movements and simulating the garment with her movements at the same time, which makes it so great is that it simulates the actual cloth. And I am glad to have this back. And I'm glad that they are allowing us to create some movement and dynamics back into our garments. What I will say is, at this current time, it is October 5th. 5.1 is still in beta. I think there are a few more days before they actually make it live and not in beta. But the older avatars are the only ones that have the animation. The new avatars do not have the animation. I don't know if they will, if that's a plan, because their structure is a little bit different. Their sizing editor, their whole code is a little bit different from these. So they probably have to build a code for those avatars separately to have them be able to pose and to have them be able to simulate animation. So we will wait for it. Might be something that comes up in 5.2. because I think it takes a little bit longer, but I'm happy to have the animation back. So you can create your own sized avatars, create your garments, and actually present them in a motion walk, like a walk, runway walk kind of thing. So maybe they will have some other motions, some fit motions. That's a good idea, like sitting, standing, jumping, leaping, so you can see how the clothing reacts. Walking is great, but sometimes you have athletic wear. So where does the sitting, standing, all the fit poses that you need, when does that come in? Hopefully it will come in 5.2. And let's see. So let me show you this animation and I'll call it a night or a day. Okay, guys. Okay, for the animation, there's one thing that I will say. They have not changed the format. You can still only do AVI at export of the animation. I have to convert it to MP4. And as you can see, it's cute. But I still complain about her elbows just looking off and her ankles just looking off. I mean, I don't know if it's a professional thing. You should be looking at the dress, maybe without the avatar, the dress moving. But the animation is great because now I can see that I opened up that neckline and maybe I don't like it. Maybe I feel like it's falling off. So I can go back to the pattern and make adjustments once I see how this garment responds on the body with movement. That is primarily the purpose of animation, besides looking cute and making your clothes look fashionable, and just adding a little pizzazz to your presentation. So that's it, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.